Yeah.
We're on Delta. Where's the other guy?
Shawn? Don't know. I just talked to him. He says he just finished his hair and makeup.
Hair and makeup? Hair and makeup? Hair and makeup?
I think he's just making a joke.
We're on a podcast. Need more light in here.
Yeah, Shawn came on, did an episode 3 months ago or so. It's been a little bit interesting views. I like he's done quite a bit of different things so far in his life. So I thought, you know what? It'd be interesting to chop it up and have different ideas and see where we all think evolution of detailing is continuing to go.
Yeah. Hey, we've been doing a lot of talks in detailing for money. Can you share this in detailing for money? Would allow you to do that?
No, remember it doesn't. And remember when we had those problems?
What let you do it for detailing for money?
No, it only lets you share to your own something that you're an admin on. I know. So I'm not an admin to detailing for money, so I can't go. Yeah. Because we used to put these on detailing for money, but when there was that update, it kicked everybody out.
Yeah, that's why I've actually been trying to do a lot more live streams, just direct and detailing for money, because there's no other way. I have to just go direct into detailing for money. It's kind of weird now.
Yeah, but then you can't record it and all that. Hey, Shawn.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
How you doing?
Afternoon.
Shawn, Greg, Shawn.
Nice to officially meet you.
Hi, Greg Masterson. Nice to meet you, Shawn.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Yeah. But that's crazy. I didn't know that you couldn't just post directly like that anymore. Wow. That's wild.
Because Greg and I used to just hack in, and when we would record these, we would go live and detailing for money, and it was a lot of fun. We got a lot of good feedback from it. People watched it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes some flack. No, I'm just kidding.
That's the best.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get attention. You know what I mean? And that's it's important.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, man, that is
Greg's
awesome.
playbook right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been watching your videos for a while, obviously, like anyone in the industry. And it's funny, I see all the comments back and forth, and there's always two sides or sometimes 10 sides to every story. But it's the whole thing. It goes back to it's just marketing. Like some people just relax. Like it's okay. It's just a marketing message. It's not a personal threat. Like calm down. So yeah, but that's awesome. Good stuff, guys. So yeah, thanks for having me, by the way, too.
Yeah, welcome. We ready to roll?
Let's roll. Let's begin.
Cool. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hi, welcome to the Pints Polishing Podcast. My name is Marshall Hill, and I'm your guide as we journey through the car care industry. You can find me on most platforms at Total Auto Solutions. If you're on TikTok, find me at Detail Supply App. Best way to get in touch with me, though, is shoot me a text direct, 918-800-1188. Joined today with 2 guests. Excited about this. Greg can be found on most platforms at Masterson's Wax. If you're on TikTok, find him at Masterson's Car Care. Best way to get in touch with Greg, though, is shoot him a text direct, 562-335-2053. And also joined by Shawn from OrbisX. Excited about this to chop it up and back and forth. Shawn can be found on most platforms at OrbisX Inc. Best way to get in touch direct is shoot him an email, shawn@orbisx.ca, and you can get Shawn direct. Shawn, hey, give us just a brief 30 seconds. Who are you?
Sure. So a serial entrepreneur, own a few companies, have an auto shop as well. So that's kind of how I got into the detailing industry. And then we've got a software company. We do 2 softwares. One is for detailing industry specific, and then another one is for HVAC guys, plumbers, things like that as well. But OrbisX has blown up. We're now in 11 countries, and it's been a primary focus for me this year. Because every year or so we try and either start or buy and sell a couple of businesses. So fortunately, just before COVID, I got out of my tourism business that I had in the Caribbean. Thank goodness for that, because things obviously didn't go so well for the rest of the world. But so my background is mostly just different businesses, different kinds. We used to own a radio show in California, like a bunch of stuff. And so Yeah, just buy and sell businesses and get them, take something that's struggling, get it to the point where it's, churning out numbers, and then hire a bunch of people to run it. So same thing. It was actually my wife and I working at our auto shop when we started it, because we had a warehouse, and we were like, what do we do with this space? So we set up an auto shop, and then now I've got 8 full-time guys and 4 part-time, and I go in there, basically when I want my car cleaned, that's about it. But it's all just on autopilot now.
Okay, man. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, as I continue to dig through my Corona experience, I am drinking a cherry limeade today.
Nice.
Not a beer. I still have yet. I had a couple sips of a beer the other day, and I couldn't do it. It just,
Why not Corona?
Nice. Maybe that should be my first beer that I actually fully drink. That would be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Get Corona Familiar.
Definitely. I heard something the other day which was interesting, and this is kind of where this talk will evolve from. Is I don't know if you guys saw how Australia has really completely changed their mentality. They call it the New World Order, right? New way of them post Corona, post everything coming out. So I want to dive into, I think it'd be fun, is there a new world order inside detailing that's evolved out of 2020 into 2021? And as we progress, further into 2022, because there's a lot of things that have changed. Some things have gone away, some things will continue to progress. And so as our first little discussion back and forth, I want to dive into what are your guys' thoughts on this. So, when we think what affects the industry, right? Let's just start about what affects the industry. Greg, I'll let you start. Do you think, is it brands that affects the industry? Is it products that affect the industry? Or is it technology that affects the industry?
Before you ask me that question, since we're talking about the New World Order, I want to know, when are we going to have Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash on the podcast? Because every time you were saying the New World Order, I'm just hearing that glass break. Boom! Right there. But this is true. The New World Order. So what are the 3 again?
Brands, products, or technology that affects the industry the most?
That's a good question. What affects the industry, or what affects us? If it to be honest, the industry, it's not, I personally don't think that it's brands or technology. What was the third one?
Products.
See, I think that people are what affect the industry more than anything. The customer base, the change of it. And then that affects the products, the technology, and the products, or the brands, the products, and the technology. It affects all of that. And those evolve with it. And in what's going to matter in 2022, 2023 after Corona, I personally think it's going to be brands out of all those. Brands are the number one.
Explain. What do you mean?
Well, like when in detailing industry of products or services, any of those, people don't buy products. This is like the craziest thing. They don't buy products. They buy stories. They buy stuff. People don't like buying stuff that they need. When was the last time you bought something you need, Marty?
My AirPods that fell out of my pocket while I was driving. Like, I was so mad because I had the doors off, and I knew I shouldn't have put it in my left pocket, but then I got to the warehouse and I was like, fuck, so they fell out. I drove up and down that highway a couple times. Just come on, please,
please be there.
That was the last time I was like, okay, I really need a new set of AirPods.
Okay. So I truly believe that that's something you want. And something you need would be something like a basic thing to live. Like, people often will spend more money. People, what's the most basic thing we need to live? Food, right? Yeah. Some people will rather buy cheap food, but spend money on expensive cars and stuff like that. But then there's some people, they're the opposite. They'll spend the most expensive food and drive the lowest cost cars, right? These are really that ideology right there, I think affects auto detailing the most. Because auto detailing, I don't think is something that anybody needs, but they want. And it's our job to make them think that they need this every day. If you're a service person, like you're running with Orbis, you want people to think that they need detailing every week, like a haircut, like a massage, like a great service, going out to eat, all those things. And be like, I need to go do that. And that's why people were so deprived in Corona, because those things that they thought that they needed, they don't need anymore. What was something after Corona, Marty, that you think that you needed, but you realized that you didn't after Corona, that you could do yourself?
Oh, I was thinking food. The biggest change for me has been I can't eat anything sweet. Nothing. I bought some grapes the other day. I couldn't even eat grapes. Like for some reason, sweet things. Yeah, it's the weirdest. Yeah, like
okay, that's a good one. Is there
anything sweet?
Is there any service that you is there something that you were buying that you just started doing yourself?
Actually, I'm going the other way. What can I bring in to make my life easier? What can I have something do for me so that I don't have to do it?
Yeah,
landscaping, lawn care. I have a house cleaner. Stuff like that. Like I want to get some new things inside the house. I understood that, right? Like, remember how much the housing market exploded and the home care exploded in 2020? Like, I get it now that I was sitting in my house for 2 weeks. Like, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, people change. People changed after Corona. And some things, like, just for me, example, and this is for a lot of people, some things, I used to go out and get cocktails all the time and go to like nice cocktail bars. I used to go out with my wife all the time, get cocktails. I just started making my own cocktails. And imagine, that's another one, a good one, coffee. I got tired in Corona because everything was shut down. We just started making our own coffee. We just started buying all the good coffee equipment, the espresso machine. We started making it here at the office. We didn't even go to Starbucks anymore. So all of that money I don't need. And one thing that is a big one, since we're talking about services and a lot of people listen to this, is the detailing. A lot of people that were having their car washed by people started having it washed at home by themselves. Like a gigantic amount. If you guys think it's a little bit, it's actually a lot from looking at our statistics. And so, a good example, my wife, she actually used to have her car washed at work because there was a guy that was there, would just come and offer to wash the car. Well, they went to work from home, disappeared that service, boom. And now they're going to go back to the office. And she's like, well, I can just wash it at home. It changed because people get a habit and then they're like, okay, I've changed. I don't need to adjust that anymore. Yeah. So these auto detailing, I think the biggest thing about is reaching out to these people with their brand or their service to connect and build rapport again with their customers.
Cool. All right, Shawn, let me jump over to you. What do you think affects the industry? Is it brands, is it products, or is it technology?
So I would agree with Greg that definitely the consumers, I would say, dictate the way that things evolve. So for example, if look at something like website design, for example, nobody wanted to build for mobile devices, but as people started using their phones more than they did computers, that industry changed to match up with, the way people were, navigating websites, things like that. It's the same kind of thing I'd say with products and brands. But what I will say is that it's a very symbiotic relationship because the brands that adapt quickly and innovate based on consumer habits, those are the ones that solidify things in the marketplace. And I think that that's where there's real opportunities for, if you look at, like Greg's saying, detailers, a lot of them will consider that detailing is a need, it's a necessity, and they sell it as if it's a need. But you're kind of backing yourself into a corner because the minute that something happens where someone doesn't feel it's a need or a necessity, your entire sales process is now gone up in smoke and it's dust. And instead, if you sell it based on the value added, the convenience, all these kinds of things, you find those kind of ways of selling it, that will allow detailers to change the industry. But I would say the brands, because brands and products definitely go hand in hand. I'd say the availability of products from brands at a consumer level is definitely impacting the industry and the way that consumers are also behaving. So there's some brands that are, switching not so much from a, business to business, but more to, B2C. They're going direct to consumer. So those brands, I would say, are impacting parts of the industry, but it depends on the parts of industry you want to service. Like there's always been those, guys and girls that want to detail their own vehicles. Those would probably never be your ideal customer because they're, I see a lot of guys that go to car shows and they pitch their detailing services to these guys that, their car is their baby. And don't get me wrong, at our shop, we do, some cars from car shows, things like that. But a lot of these guys, they're so big into their, the gear heads, they love their vehicle. They don't want to, they'll ask you for advice. Hey, I need to get this out of my seats or something like that. They don't actually want you to do it. They just, want to come get whatever they can. So I think that the brands that adapt quickly, the brands that, push themselves in the marketplace, those are the ones that impact things in the marketplace. The other ones, they might have a short little burst. If you go direct to consumer, for example, you might have a burst during something like a pandemic, but then, post-pandemic, as people start getting, slowly going back to work or they start to get lazy again, they're not at home, that's where the convenience services are going to come back into effect. And those brands might be in trouble because they spent so much effort going that one route that was short-lived, right? So I would say if I had to choose one, the one that impacts them the most, I would say the brands do impact the industry the most. Reason being is that without the brands, there are no products for the consumers to buy. But that being said, brands that don't adapt with consumer purchasing habits, they're the ones that are going to be, dead in the water, right? So,
yeah. And when I thought of the questions and I looked over it, I think it's technology. I think as technology continues to evolve, and that's not just like technology to me goes not only in something like OrbisX, but and also into coatings or snow foam. When I think of snow foam and I think of what Greg, you guys did, way many years ago, the idea and having the idea of the technology of putting out foam onto the car, well, it started with that, but then it took the brand and what all you guys did to explode, making cleaning your car sexy and fun and showing foam all over the place.
Helps with those promo videos for sure.
Yeah.
And the reason that ties into what I was saying is that people don't buy stuff. They buy stories. And I love detailing my car. People love coming to the shop because they know I love detailing my car. They want to chat with me. They want to know about the products that we use, and they buy it because they see our passion for detailing. Anybody can go get a wax anywhere, but why do they drive to our Masterson's Car Care store? Sometimes they drive like a couple hours to come down here to get our products, to hang out with us, to talk about us, mainly to hang out with us because we have such a great crew of people because they love our story. They love our passion for it.
Yeah.
And that's something about the snow foam. Why did people buy the snow foam and why did it look sexy? Why did it look fun? It's because we have fun doing it. Like literally, it's something you can't fake. Having fun is something it's very difficult to fake. You can act in a lot of stuff, but movies,
so the next one for me, when I thought of it, what has it changed and affect the industry was coatings. Right now, coatings have been, as you guys know, been around for a long time in different places. But then when it came here to the States, there was a few brands that really pushed the agenda. Certain brands did an incredibly job at their marketing, which greatly affected the industry habits. And it directly increased and then decreased for many people about which style of coating they chose and how many layers or blah, 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 right? What does it for me? I'm going to go with technology, and then it's brands that come in to do it because then they're the ones that put out the products for people to use and put on their car. So it does have a bunch of different, I think you use symbiotic. I think that's a good word of saying it is how it all ties in together. All right. So let's go over a couple different things of where we see value today. And this should be fun. These will be little quick ones, right? Cause I got quite a few. So
all right.
If I cut you off, it's because, hey, we got a minute.
A list.
Through. All right. So, all right. Shawn, for you, where does this hold value today? Rotary buffing.
Depends on what you're selling. Exactly. For me, at our shop, for example, we sell a lot of PPF. We do more PPF than we do coatings. So I would say the prep work for anything is where people come in to our shop, because it's the grunt work they don't want to do themselves. So prepping a car, I'd say it makes up a big part of our business. So our shop is Auto World. So we're in Ottawa in Canada, but for us, there's a lot of different factors we have to deal with here because the conditions with the climate. So for us, people want to lock in that shine.
All right, I get it, but rotary, right?
Rotary.
How does rotary affect?
Yeah,
Does it
so
have value?
I think so. I think it can have value. It depends on how it's pushed. Like at our shop, we're really good with our sales process. We spend more time training people on the sales side versus doing the actual work. So I think transferring that value to the customer, absolutely. It's
Okay. Greg,
I know we have a
rotary
list,
buffing.
so I'll try and keep it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'll cut you off. We'll go on.
Rapid fire.
Rotary buffing, Greg.
Rotary buffing, yeah, it's got value. You can do some fast work, and you also need it for headlight restorations and polishing on like stuff like that. Like, I mean, I use it a lot for headlight restorations, a lot.
Ah, good point. All right, Greg, wax.
Wax is a fucking great value. It's one of the best values out there. Like, pretty much you can get it anywhere. It makes anything look great, and it's cheap. It's like, it's everything good. You know, they say a race car, or you don't want a good car, you can only have three things. There's three things with a car. They're fast, reliable, or cheap. Pick two. Wax has all three. It's great. It's reliable, it's cheap, and it's dependable. It's great.
All right, great. Shawn.
Instant upsell. Instant. I love it. Yeah, it's something that gets added on to everything. Doesn't even matter. So we definitely push that more than we do ceramics, just because the turnaround time for us is significantly less, and it also brings repeat business versus, hey, we'll see you in 7 years.
Okay. So then
Exactly.
sealants. Where does sealants hold value then?
So like ceramics,
No, sealants.
sealants in the only thing, like so at our shop, we consider ceramic coatings like sealants, sealing the car. Give me an
You're in Canada, right?
Yeah.
See, now this is something that's very unique, and I'll point this out because Shawn's from Canada. Is it everywhere in the world, they view products or services differently? And like in Canada, Canadian consumers, and this, correct me if I'm wrong, coatings and sealants are probably in like the same zone. There's not
100%.
like a 3-tier thing. They're just like, oh, you want a coating sealant? You want a sealant?
100%. And that's
Right?
100%. Yeah,
Okay.
you're absolutely right. Like I said, we sell more PPF because the road conditions, like even when they salt the roads for the winter, that gets kicked up on your car. So rock chips are a huge thing that we deal with here. So PPF makes more sense, and our margins on it are phenomenal. So that's where. So sealants where you are.
Yeah, like a Teflon. I mean, a Teflon sealant, a 6-month sealant, a spray sealant. There's
sealant.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, we have something similar to that. What we call it something a little bit different here, but we just say spray protectant. And so we have different products that we've tried out, and it's not as huge a seller. We make more off the wax. It's faster, and people feel they're getting the same kind of value. I realize they do very different things, but it's part of our sales process. We can add value to either one. But
Greg,
I'm going to get my guys to test it out, though. I'm going to get them to test out using sealant as the word and see what happens. I'm big on testing.
You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. It probably won't work. It's just it's just the communication thing.
It's true.
That the customers may feel
What they're looking for is
So Greg, what about you? Sealants.
Sealant's a great value. If it's for a detailer service, great. If it's for a detailer service, great value. Upsell it from a wax. I feel like it's start everything with a wax. Wax is like basic included, and then upsell them to a sealant, and then you can even upsell them to a ceramic. And then from even there, you can even kind of like cross-sell into like PPF, which is really cool. It leads like a lot of levels. And sometimes in America, sometimes people like a lot of choices, or they only like 3 choices. Mm-hmm. So
that's why popcorn is small, medium, and large.
Yeah, that's why popcorn in America, small, medium, large. But you go to some restaurants in America, and like the menus are like 8 pages.
Yeah.
All right. So this is an interesting one, a product that came out years ago, greatly affected, but I don't see as much today as we used to see, is that really foul smelling, color changing wheel cleaner.
Yeah. Hey,
Greg, you're up.
I'll throw in on this first. I get people asking me about that. Oh, did you sell this like iron removing wheel cleaner? I'm like, it smells real bad, right? They're like, yeah. But I've seen it online. And I'm like, yeah, you've seen it online, but you don't understand. It smells like death.
Rotten eggs.
Yeah. It smells like burnt plastic.
Yeah.
So does it have value today?
No, I don't think it ever had value at all. I personally don't think it had any value.
Shawn, what about you?
Yeah. So we use a product that's similar, but not for wheels, but we use it. It smells similar though. It smells like sulfur, like eggs. Yeah. And so we use it as part of the prep work before we do PPF. So usually like removing contaminants.
Right. But I'm totally talking about wheel cleaning.
So for wheels, no, we don't. Yeah. But here's the thing, the way that we've trained our guys, they could add value to anything and sell it. So in that regard, sure. Like if you had a bottle kicking around, you want to give it to me, I'll get my guys to sell it. But we wouldn't use it in our day-to-day.
This is one that you guys are both in. This will be fun. Shawn, what value do Facebook groups have?
Depends on the group. So there's some groups online that, people throw out the term toxic a lot. I think any group, even if it is toxic, depending on how you network within that group, I think there can be pluses and minuses. The biggest thing is it's a great place to help others, so that can fulfill that philanthropic need, but also it's a great place to learn some stuff too if you actually pay attention. And Facebook's great with the algorithm. If you spend 10 seconds on a post, they know, and they won't show you those kind of posts again. But when people go and comment on things that, oh, I hate seeing these posts and stuff like that, you just commented. So Facebook assumes you want to see that again. So they're going to show it to you more. So Facebook groups are great, but understanding the algorithms behind them, they don't bother me because Facebook rarely shows me stuff I don't want to see.
Greg.
Facebook groups are great, but the demographics are very old now. And they're getting older. They're getting really old. And people need.
I'm glad you said that, because that's really what's been in my mind. Like, and when I think of Facebook groups, the new, right? Because we're thinking new world, right? Those younger detailers, the newer I think they're spending much less time in the Facebook groups, and they're on TikTok.
They're on TikTok. They're not even there. And I feel like sometime soon there will be an evolution of Facebook will go away, because Facebook's there. The demographics on Facebook, super old. And yeah, Facebook groups are great. And they're great for the instantaneous thing, but it's pretty much just like the forums moved over to Facebook group,
That's true.
Moved over to Facebook group. And there could be a resurgence of detailing forums back again through chat discussion groups. But the people running the forums can't screw it up again, because they were the ones that screwed it up in general.
That's all the problem. Yeah, that's why people switched over. Yeah.
That's why we went over to Facebook.
I think demographics too, it depends. Like where we are, for example, a lot more people here, they use like Instagram, things like that. Things that just the way the platforms functions a little different. It's more focused on, video and visual aids versus, just texting back and forth basically in one big thing. So I think it depends that way too. But yeah, TikTok as well. People like things that are instantaneous. They want it faster. And, if you have any questions, it's rare now that people will go to like Facebook groups in comparison to how many detailers there actually are versus how many are in these groups. It's more, you want answers to thing, YouTube, Google, ask a friend, things like that. It's
cool. All right. Greg, automation.
Automation and what? Anything? Well, automation and anything is great. If you can automate something, that is great. I got somebody that works here, Adrian. All he wants me to do is automate everything. You need to just automate everything. Yeah, automation is great. But like Henry Ford said it, give me an idea, show me who comes with it. There has to be somebody to run that automation. So automation is a tool. It's great for us to use. It's a lot of value. Do not make your whole thing automated and think that you can just automate something and then just go to the Bahamas.
True. It's
Shawn,
true.
Shawn, you seem to be a big automated
I
guy though. So love to know your thoughts.
Love automation, but Greg's right. Automation with purpose. And you can never remove the human element. You can't. So I see a lot of guys, they post in forums and groups and they say like, I don't want to even answer these messages to customers. I just want them to go online and do everything themselves and stuff like that. And that's great. Like our software, OrbisX, has an amazing booking tool as well as automation things, but with the human element involved as well, because you're your greatest asset. You are the face of the company. You are that sales tool, and a customer will upsell themselves sometimes, but you're never going to know how many sales you missed out on. So you have to play an active role in that sales process. I know it's scary for a lot of guys, but you got to do it. And so everything about, we own 7 companies in total. We automate everything that we can, but we also inject the human element as well. So even my auto shop, OrbisX lands us deals all on its own. It has AI that reaches out and books appointments for us. That's great. But just in case it doesn't catch them all, I have 2 receptionists. So Joe, he's a great guy. Joe, if you see this, but he calls every customer as well. And so we have that human element while automating, because it's the only way to scale. So right now we're doing 25 to 30 cars a day, 6 days a week. And that's within 2 years. And we have 640 5-star reviews. And we wouldn't have gotten here without some form of automation, but having that human component as well. So I studied at the Walt Disney Institute, and they have a university for marketing and sales. And it's this whole thing of creating magic. So you have to create that experience for the customer. Technology can't do it alone, and humans can't do it alone if you want to scale as well. So
cool. All right. Shawn, waterless washing.
This one, oh geez. Personally, I feel that anytime you're cleaning something, water should be involved to some degree. That's just my personal opinion. And it's because water is it's provided by nature, and it's a good cleanser in a lot of ways. Like would you wash your dishes at home without using water ever? Probably not. So it's the same for a car, but depends on what you're washing. Depends on the scenario. I do think that there is some value to it in some scenarios, but for us, customers also like to see their car, dripping, get sprayed down, and then stuff like that. So for us, that's where our value add comes in. Not a huge fan personally, but I know many are.
Yeah, Greg.
I think waterless wash is the biggest value of the fucking planet. Like
I knew you were going to.
It is so much value, 100%. I think that waterless wash is actually going to lead to the demise of the professional detailing world very fast. And I actually think that it's actually been that way for a while. It's just that it was too much of an advancement, because people are like, man, I have to use water. I have to use water to clean this. And now, like out here in California, we're getting ready to go in stupid drought. The Lake Mead is at the lowest level it's ever been. If it can't go if it goes any lower, they're gonna can't make power. And so they don't want anybody washing with water. If you wash with water out here in California, you have to collect all the water, suck it up into a vacuum. If you get caught,
clean it. Wow.
If you get caught using the water without a reclamation mat, it's a $10,000 fine. So I think that waterless wash is great, because you can wash the car inside, outdoors, a race car, don't have to touch water. And some customers out here, a lot of people listen to this, don't even like their cars being washed with water. Like, I don't even drive in the rain.
Wow.
I don't even drive in the rain. They're like, I don't even take this car in the rain. Why do I need to wash with water? Yeah. And it's a big perception of that. And I think it's going to change a lot.
Here in Oklahoma, most people, when we talk about in the rain, they consider that washing their car. So if it's 3 or 4 days before we're going to get rain, 2 or 3 days after, they're like, oh no, it's going to rain. Well, I'll wash my car in the rain. And then, oh no, it just rained. My car got washed. So
I got a free car wash.
Yeah,
free car wash.
All right. So Greg, artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence, this is an interesting one. I think that the artificial intelligence doesn't have value to the detailer yet. It has more value to the online sales of products. And that is a big thing, I believe, is the online sales of the products. Detailers can easily do this. And if they're selling online, then the AI has more value for them. And actually, to be honest, I feel like the AI has great value for the customer. hey, if it's finding things that I kind of have interest in. Now I don't have to look at commercials for protein powder because I'm not going to go to the gym. It's going to show me commercial for nice dress shoes because I'm looking for some dress shoes.
Cool.
Yes,
Shawn.
Yeah, so little different school of thought. See, I understand that side too, because through our marketing agency, we do a lot of AI stuff for e-commerce stores, and that's huge, so it plays a big role into filtering out, showing people what they're going to buy and retargeting to them. So we do the same thing though with OrbisX towards booking more appointments. So it's big on doing follow-ups and even making sure that my staff do follow-ups, things like that as well. But when it's looking for suggestions of days to book, the AI assesses what we call staff fatigue. So it takes a look at, how our staff has been performing, how many days they've worked, how many hours, how many jobs they've done, the types of jobs, and if maybe they're getting tired, and it tries to make, appointment suggestions for different days. So it does play a role, and there are ways of doing it. Yeah. But like anything with automation, you still need that human component, and it can't just run on its own. You're not going to set up AI and then just, let me sit back and smoke my cigar and the AI is going to make me $1 million. It doesn't work like that. You need a human component as well. And it depends on how you set it up, because you can set up AI and it'll completely tank, or you can set it up and it does a really good job. So, yeah.
We talked earlier about waxes and sealants. So now where the value of ceramic coatings, where does that hold for you?
Me or Greg?
You go first, Shawn.
Sure, sounds good. So similar to wax, we use it as an upsell as well. And so each thing has its place. We find at our shop that we get customers that come in with one or two schools of thought. They either don't know what ceramic coatings are at all, and then we have to spend a lot of time educating them on that. So in those instances, we take a look at the customer, what they're spending, what they're booked in for. If it's easier for us to just push a wax, get them out the door, we'll follow up later with a ceramic coating and walk them down that funnel. Other guys come in and they've heard of ceramic coatings, they want it, and we use it as an alternative for PPF. I know they do very different things in terms of, protection for, like scratches, rock chips, things like that. But some people don't want to or are not prepared to make the investment in PPF. So at our shop, ceramic coating has a high value, absolutely. Depending on the product, though, depending on what people are using, because there's some things out there that, they make all kinds of promises and, anyway, we'll leave that there for now.
Greg?
I think the value is low right now on ceramic coating. I think it used to be a very good value, and now it's not a value anymore. It's just because it's everywhere. And how can you have value if something is in an oversaturated market? I don't believe it can. I think detailers have to make their services more unique. And I think that it's for a detailer, they should try to be in a market that's outside of the norm, right? It gets them more attention. It can get them more customers rather than everybody going with ceramic coating. And I still believe right now that, like what Shawn said, people don't know what ceramic coating is, and you have to explain it to them. And if you have to explain a joke, it's not funny. So why even say the joke, right? Why even try to offer it? And it's still not a relevant thing. I think maybe in the future it will have more value.
All right. So sanitization, right? In 2020, there was brands, there was trainers, there's people that came out heavy with, hey, you got to sanitize, but not really any information that was valid, and a lot of hocus pocus promises that you don't see them anymore. I haven't seen those, especially certain trainers that were pushing it that do not even say anything anymore about sanitization. So, Greg, sanitization inside value for cleaning cars.
I actually see a lot of value in the sanitization, and you don't have to just be like, I'm only selling sanitization, right? But we're going to clean your car. We're also going to sanitize those surfaces as well. And because there's a lot of surfaces in the cars that people touch, a shitload. Mm-hmm. And who has value in the sanitization? People with kids. People with kids, they want the car clean for the child. And one of it is sanitizing wipes, sanitizing sprays, stuff like that. Car seat cleaning. That's a big service that has a lot of value. I have a kid on the way. it has a lot of value to me.
Oh, congrats.
Thanks. So there's a lot of value I see, and I notice a lot of that value for other people as well. But it has to be presented the right way, and it can't just be like, hey, we're just going to sanitize your car, we're just going to spray it. No, we're also going to clean, and we're actually cleaning the car, but we're also sanitizing as well those hard surfaces. Like we all know you can't sanitize like carpet and stuff like that, but we can sanitize hard surfaces and make it a little bit cleaner for you.
Shawn.
Yeah, that's true. Huge value add as well. So what we do is we have ads right now targeting what we classify as soccer moms. So it's going towards them, and with that they get the car seats done. But we also promote to them that we do the belt buckles, so the seat belts, things like that, because that's a huge contact point as well. And then similarly, we do something for Uber drivers as well, because they each get a credit from Uber to get their car clean, and so we push that heavily with them. Do I think it's a long-lasting, promotion type thing that we could do? Maybe, not sure. I think that's the way this world is headed, but we're not putting all our faith in it. We're not switching gears and saying, okay, we're going to be a sanitization cleaning company, but it's definitely, I'd say, a value add-on. Absolutely.
All right. So Shawn, your go. Email campaigns.
Depends on how the campaign's done. The best ones are if it's drip campaigns. Not a huge fan of the impersonality of emails because people get them and it's, I get hundreds of emails, they get tons of promotions. It's very saturated, but depending on how it's done, they can work well. But I think if they're well timed and they're done right, they work a lot better than, mass text messages.
Okay. That's what I was going to say is, email campaigns, or what about text messaging?
Yeah, so text messages are good for, like, hey, your appointment's coming up or something like that. If you're sending it out saying like, hey, we have a 5% off this weekend only, stuff like that, people are not going to be happy with that most times. So they're not good for blasts, I would say, but they're good for quick notices, things like that. And just think about the messages you would want to receive and that you get from companies. And then when you're structuring marketing campaigns for your business, try and tailor the ones that you feel are working well. And usually it's not blasts through text messages. Those are good for instant notifications, just like, hey, this is happening or something like that, but marketing wise. But email campaigns can work depending on how they're done. I could get into that, but we have a really good thing we do at our shop with contests. So we'll hold a contest, everyone can enter to win. And then those that don't win, we send out an email and it says, and the winner is. So they all open it to see if they won. And then in there, all the people that didn't win, we pitch them, whatever the promo is. So those kind of campaigns work really well and they're done by email, but someone's expecting to receive something like that. And this isn't a talk about consent, but more a talk of your effectiveness. If they're expecting to receive something, it's going to be received better and you can close a lot more people. Cool.
Greg.
I don't think the value of email is very big right now. I think email campaigns are very effective and they're a great thing, but the value of it is very low. I think running email campaigns right now is very expensive and it also is very time consuming. So I truly believe because of that, the value is very low. And now I'll just comment on text messaging. I don't like to receive text messages on stuff on my phone. And if a company tries to do that, I get really pissed off. And so I don't think text message blast should be done. If you want to get a hold of the customer, just send them an email or just have somebody give them a call. Personally, I like the personal
phone call.
And one of these things that's better, I truly believe, is the call. And I'll give you an example. Just be really quick. I went to a restaurant, had a great meal. And then I was actually in Florida opening our new Masterson's Car Care Florida store. And I had dinner the night before. And the next day in the morning, the restaurant called me. Hey, Mr. Masterson, how are you doing? I'm blah, blah, blah from the restaurant that you were just at. I just wanted to thank you for coming. And we wanted to just see how your meal was.
Nice.
I said, yeah, it was great. I enjoyed it. And thank you so much for calling. You know why?
A personal touch.
It was very personal. And I like that.
Yeah.
And I think detailers, if they do that personal touch, great thing for the future. I think it's much better than email or text.
All right, cool. Last one, $4,000 tickets or weekly $7,500 maintenance cleanings. Greg.
Wait, repeat that?
big $4,000 tickets or weekly like $75 to $100 tickets for weekly maintenance?
Wait, let's just talk about, this is a good question. What was the first number you said? $4,000?
Sure. I'm just throwing out a
No,
number.
throw a real number.
I mean,
$4,000.
I got off the phone with the guy yesterday that was shooting for 8,000. So, I mean, there's certain pockets of the country.
Let's go with 4,000.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you said weekly maintenance
Or weekly maintenance.
or weekly maintenance. How much we charge?
$100. Let's just call it
$100. Okay. $100 a ticket.
month.
Okay. Let's just get out my middle school calculator right here that I use for everything. Okay. Because
Hey, so did you
The watch?
I bought one right? Sean, you had one, didn't you? The little one on your watch?
No,
Yeah,
this
did you
is
have
this is the Texas Industries TI-3 whatever X middle school calculator. Okay, whatever. So let's just go at it right here. Okay, let's just say that you're doing weekly washing, $100. Okay, and you're not going to a job without doing at least 4 cars at the $100. Okay, how many of those jobs do you think they could do a day? Both of you guys, just throw a number.
Like the $4,000 jobs or the
No. We're talking about the $100 first.
Okay, well, mobile less,
Yeah,
but
just throw a number. Doesn't matter. Mobile, fixed.
Say
I'd say-
five. Say
Five.
five.
I'd say
Okay.
4.
They're gonna go.
Yeah.
They're gonna go to 4 stops, and they're
Mhm.
gonna do 4 cars at each stop. Okay, so that's $400 times 4. That's $1,600 a day. Okay, now let's just say that they're gonna do that 4 days a week. Let's say that one day they fuck up. So everybody's human. Okay.
Everyone's
Let's just say 5. Let's just go 5 because it's easy. It's 261. It's 261 work days a year. Okay. So they make it $1,600 a day times 261. That's a lot of money. How much do you think it is? Over $400,000. That's a lot of money. Okay. $400,000. It's actually $417,000. Okay. Now let's go with that 4,000. How many 4,000s sale are they going to get the month?
Well, let's be fair and say they could get
It's-
One
a day. If they're going to do, you just
one a
said that
day.
they're basically doing 16
Yeah.
cars a day.
a day.
That's a lot of work. So we got to give those guys a credit that they're going to bust out at least one of the big
Every
ticket
day.
items.
Okay,
a day.
now this
Yeah.
is the thing, and this is we can talk about this for a minute if you like. You got to be a good salesperson to sell a $4,000 detail. And I know a lot of detailers that they struggle to even sell a $100 detail. So that's why I'm saying, how many $4,000 details do you think
Well, I don't think they
can
would have
book
got the 16 cars done in a day. I think they would have only gotten 4.
I think they could do 16 cars a day at $100. That's not hard. You just get the basic wash in and throw on a couple add-ons. Boom, it's $100 plus a
Mhm.
tip. If you get up to 80, they're going to tip you $20. So you're clearly almost close to the 100. If you got an employee with you, you could get it done. Got a little team, right? But the $4,000, how many do you think they could do a week?
I would
I'll
guess
go-
2, maybe 3.
Because I'm not.
Let's
gonna,
go 3.
I'm
Let's go
going to tell
3.
you this: if I drop my car off with somebody, and in one day it comes back $4,000, something's wrong there, right?
right,
You'd
so
be
we go
expecting
3.
Something's wrong. Something is wrong. So
12,000 a week.
how many cars are doing 4 of those a week?
Well, we said 3.
3.
3. Okay, so they're doing 3. 4. They're doing those a week. They're 4,000 times 3. So $12,000 a week. Let's say they work 52 weeks. Okay, that's 600,000. Okay, so 624,000. So you're making more. Can you close all of that?
So-
I don't think so.
Here would be my concern as a business. So at our shop, we have a mix of both. We have we call them promo details, and so we charge around $139 for those ones. Okay, we pump those out all day. We put 2 guys on it, and they do 4 of them an hour. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that it sounds crazy, but it's
not
we put
crazy.
them in the bays back to back. You have a good process, exactly.
It's not
So
crazy.
we also take the big ticket items, but my concern if I was a business that only had the $4,000 ticket items is that you've got $3,999 of wiggle room for a competitor to come in and steal all your business, right? That's concern number one. But my other concern would be if someone's coming in at the $4,000 mark, trying to sell them consistently, that's a problem, possibly. But also, what are the upsells looking like on that ticket item versus the guy I'm seeing every week for $100? I'm seeing him every week. Upselling him something every single week is going to be easy. I could probably find something that's $4,000 to upsell that guy, you know? So I would rather have the consistent, consumer base and figure out ways of turning that customer into a higher ticket item versus the high ticket ones. But I mean, depends on the market too. You might have someone that, depending on their area, maybe the only thing around is $4,000 details.
Yeah. I don't see the $4,000 detail happening. I just think it's it is possible you can do the $4,000 detail, but it really depends on the people selling the services. And
that's true.
And a lot of people out there, I don't believe in the detailing industry, they suck at selling. I'll be the first one to say it. The majority of the detailers out there in the market, they suck at selling. And if they spent some time and got some training from a great sales training or invested in that time, I believe their business would double or triple within a matter of months. I believe that.
Yeah, if not weeks. Yeah.
If not weeks, or days.
Maybe the next day. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, it's crazy.
The people I've helped with, like just through OrbisX, I help so many of the members with like sales and stuff like that with training, because that's where my background is, and it's not actually in technology per se. So I helped them a lot with that, and I've studied everything. Like our company we had in the Caribbean, I put all my staff through the Grant Cardone University because it focused strictly on selling. So I've even gone through it myself, and there's so many similarities. No matter what you're selling, it's the fundamentals are the same. I've seen some of these guys, they message me and they like 2-3 weeks later, and they're like, you wouldn't believe it. For the first time ever, I hit this milestone. And they were operating for like 3-4 years. And within less than a month, transformed them into something that, they're power sellers now. So it's, I agree. Yeah. The right sales process. And that's where the guy you see frequently. I mean, Greg, for yourself, would you rather have someone that's coming, and they buy $4,000 once a year, or they're coming every week and they're spending, $200, but you're able to upsell them something during that process?
Shawn, that's a good thing, because I mention this probably every single week, is that I have 5 cars, and I can't. Oh, this is an even good one. I have 5 cars, and right now I have a leg injury. I have a leg injury. I got a sliced on my leg. I got a fucking cut. I had to get a bunch of stitches. So obviously I can't be washing cars too much, right?
Yeah.
But if I knew a detailer that would come and wash all of my cars today and do it and give me a great price, I would pay that and tip them. But I mention that on this podcast every week. Yet we have not had one person pick up the phone.
Nobody's called you?
No. They have not just walked in. No. And I'm here and I'm like, here, I have money. I'm like, here, take my money. Look, I told the person, I'm like, I got some cash. I'm like, I usually carry a couple hundred on me. So or here's, like I said, I got cash. Just come here. I'll tip you. I'll pay you cash. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
But nobody has the balls to just call and be like, I want that job. Can I do it? Yes.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It's crazy, right? I know. And I've said this for maybe about 3 months. How many months have I said this, Marty?
No, you said it much longer than that. It was really early. I mean, we've been recording, at least 8 or 10 months, right? If not almost a year now.
Yeah.
And early on in that you started. And I think it's not even just here. Crazy. You've put that out in other places too, right? It's not just on these episodes. So
gosh.
It is funny.
I know. And they could come to my shop and wash my car and use my water and maybe even test out some chemicals.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe even get some free chemicals instead of a wash, or get cash, whatever. There's so many different deals, but people are listening to this and they don't follow through. And so that's all one of the things I tell about the sale is to follow through,
Yeah, 100%. And what's the worst that happens? You call somebody and what do they say?
They say no.
No thanks. Exactly. Like that's it, no hard feelings. All right. And I mean, I'm still going to press even if they say no. Like, listen, aside from yourself, what's the one reason? You'll just push. But like, that's crazy. I think Marty, now you have to put his number back up again so that people.
Yeah, they could just Google Masterson's car care. It'll come up. They could. They.
100%.
They could just walk into the shop. Hey, you need a wash? I would.
Yeah.
You're in the Orange County area. We're like right next to Disneyland, right off the freeway.
Jeez. Oh man, that's perfect. Jeez,
Crazy.
well, when our borders open back up, I'll bring one of my guys down there if no one just do it.
Greg, thanks as always for your time. Shawn, thanks for hopping on. Your drink's
Absolutely.
finished. You're gonna have to grab another. Was it a whiskey?
That rum. Yeah. El Dorado. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. You're a rum guy. That's right.
Yeah,
Because of
yeah,
the
yeah.
Caribbeans.
So-
Yeah.
Exactly. Sometimes tequila, it depends on the mood, but yeah. Usually.
Greg's a tequila fan. Greg's a tequila.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. Silver or gold though.
Always the reposado or the anejo.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I should drink on the beer. I got a bar Masterson over here. We always just go
Oh, there you go.
on the podcast.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for
good
your
stuff.
time. Really appreciate it. And
Thank you,
we'll
guys.
see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Absolutely. See you next week.